everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about some different tattoo machines available at different price ranges. I had a viewer of one of my previous videos leave a comment stating they already own a Poseidon tattoo machine, not too dissimilar to this one, and could I offer some suggestions or advice on a second machine at around the same price point. Now I thought this was a great question. It's always useful to have a second tattoo machine or multiple tattoo machines in your collection. If one breaks, we've got a second tattoo machine we can use and we can carry on. I also go down the route of I have one machine set up for lining and I have a second machine set up for shading and different machines for different jobs. That way, during the tattoo process, when we come to change from lining to shading to colouring and so forth, we don't have to jiggle around and reset the machine. We can just pick up the separate machine and move straight on. So let's jump on in and have a look at some of the options that we have at some different price points. So before we break down the different categories and different ranges for price for tattoo machines, there's a couple of things we need to talk about first so we can make a more informed decision about what machines we should be buying or we should consider buying. Now, if we look on the Poseidon website, I'll put an overlay of that whilst we're talking about these. Both these machines are available there for 129 to 150 euros. Now that price range, that's not a bad price for tattoo machines of this level. But if we then hop over to Temu, we can find Poseidon on there and they're listed as being the official brand and they claim that the company have proved all the relevant paperwork to say that they are actually the official Poseidon company and it's not off-brand. We can find these same machines on there for around 50 euros, so we can find them for less than half the price. Now obviously if we buy from Temu, they claim 5 to 10 business days for delivery. So in real world, we're about 2 weeks. I've ordered a fair few things off there. I've never had problems with lost parcels or anything damaged in transit, but you might have a different experience. This also gets us on to the next step. Some of the lower tier tattoo machines we can find on places like Temu for 20 to 30 euros. We can find them on Amazon as well for 50 to 60 euros. Now, I'm pretty sure some of these companies, they're just merchanting. They're buying them from places like Temu for 30 euros, then reselling them on Amazon for twice the price, but with the advantage of you get faster delivery and arguably you get a better returns policy with Amazon. So there are 3 different price points you could be paying for the same machine, depending on if you want to buy from the .com, whether you want to buy from Temu, or whether you prefer having some of the safety precautions we have with somewhere like Amazon. So now we've spoke about the different price points, let's jump in a bit more and look at what we could be buying in those different categories. Now on our first price point of tattoo machines, we're looking around that 50 to 70 euro price point. Our only real options for this is to go to Temu and check out some of the offerings from Poseidon. Although I mentioned their products a fair bit in this video, I'm not sponsored by them, I'm not affiliated with them, so there's no motivation or advantage for me to recommend their products over the next one, just to make that clear from the start. Now, the first and early generations of our pen style rotary machines, we'd have the body separate and then the battery that would attach generally by an RCA connection. Now, I don't really recommend buying those type of machines, because once we've bought the body and the battery, although they might turn out to be about the same price, we do find with the battery being on top, the machines generally are a lot more top heavy and the bodies are generally made of plastic and don't feel as premium, and I couldn't say how long a plastic bodied machine would last, and in general the motors aren't as powerful as some of the modern alternatives. Now, I did a bit of research and digging around on the Poseidon website, and these two machines here on paper are identical. They have the same size battery, the motor specs are the same, we can switch to the same stroke length. I've got review videos for both of these machines and they both fared up pretty much identically. So the person who mentioned they already have a Poseidon machine, I wouldn't be surprised if looking on the website and checking out the specs of the machine that I think they have, they would be very similar internally to both these machines. So both these machines would be a viable option if you wanted to buy a second Poseidon machine. Now, if we can afford to increase our budget to around the 150 euro mark, there's a couple of machines I'd like to suggest. Now, I will say I don't physically own these machines at the moment, but I have used them and I have got some hands-on experience with them. So the first machine I want to suggest would be the original 3.5mm direct drive Archer by Mast. Now, a load of people have used this machine, and people that I know that use it say they turn it on and it works just as good as the first day they bought it, and they've never had any problems with it. Now, being a 3.5mm direct drive machine, it's going to be a good all-round machine. We're going to be able to do soft work up to our big, strong, fat black lines, our solid packing. One of the advantages of this is we don't have to bother adjusting the stroke, so we've only got to worry about the adjustable grip, which we're used to on the pen style machines, and then our voltage. Now, if you want to buy another dynamically adjustable machine, my suggestion to this would be the Fold 2 Pro by Mast Dragonhawk. This is a slightly updated version than the original Fold Pro. It's got a slightly larger battery. It's still got the adjustable click in the middle to adjust our stroke, and we've got the ratchet style grip on it. This has got a fairly decent display, although it only shows our voltage, it doesn't show hertz. But that isn't a massive deal breaker, because we still can use the machine to do pretty much anything we want. Because it is dynamically adjustable, we're going all the way from 2.4 up to 4.2mm on the stroke if we so wish. So these would be two solid contenders in this price point that I would suggest. If we can afford to increase our budget to the €200 mark, there's a couple of great machines that I'd like to suggest. They're both by Mast, although I mentioned a few of their products in this video. Once again, I'm not sponsored or affiliated with them, so these are my personal opinions. The first machine I'll talk about is the Mast Racer Pro, and I do have a more in-depth video of this machine, and it's one of my favourite machines to come out recently. We do get a lot for our money in this machine. Although it is a direct drive fixed stroke machine, once we flip it into the Hertz mode, it's super adjustable, so we can make it feel like a super soft 2.4 machine, or if we want to get that power, we can make it feel like a 4.2 hard hitting machine. So we do have a lot of dynamic range with a machine like this. We could use it for shading, we could use it for lining, pretty much anything you could think of. The next machine I want to talk about is the Archer Max S 4.5mm. It's a slightly more modernised and updated version of the original Archer. It's got the 4.5mm direct drive fixed stroke length. It's got a slightly larger battery as far as I'm led to believe, and a slightly better display. If you own the original 3.5mm Archer, it might be a tough call to decide, do you want to upgrade? But if you're looking to buy a second machine, both the 3.5 and the 4.5 would be great machines. The 4.5 just costs a little bit more, but if you can afford it, it is a recommended machine to have that little bit more power in it if that's what you desire. Now, if we can increase our price range to the €250 mark, it opens the doorway to a whole bunch more tattoo machines that we could be buying. I can't possibly cover them all because there's just too many, but a couple that I do have and have some hands-on experience with is the original Fold Pro by Dragonhawk. Now, we did mention the Fold 2 Pro earlier in the video. The Fold Pro has a slightly stronger motor in it, but that's not to say the Fold 2 Pro isn't a capable tattoo machine. Once again, it's a dynamic adjustable stroke. We've got the click in the middle, and we've got our ratchet style grip. We've got our battery that shows us the voltage and a timer on our battery display. Like the Fold 2 Pro, this doesn't show the hertz. I've been using this machine for the best part of 2 years, most days in the studio, and it's been super reliable. I haven't had any problems with it. When the battery goes flat, I swap the other one out and it just carries on working, and away I go. So I could recommend this machine. It is a very reliable workhorse machine, especially at this price point. The last couple of machines I want to talk about in this price point are going to be the Easy P3 Pro Turbo and the more modern released version, the Easy P3 Pro Turbo 2.0. Now, the more modern version, they've refined how you adjust the cam inside, and although it's a fixed stroke machine, it's not dynamically adjustable. We have to undo the machine to adjust the cam within the machine itself. That's why it's technically fixed stroke. It's a direct drive motor. We've got the clicky ratchet grip. Now, I've been using this machine for probably about 1.5 years, and it's been super reliable. I use it as a liner. It can push our nice small needles, our 3s, our 5s, and it has no problem handling the larger needle groups, you know, our big mags, our fat liners. So a machine like this is going to be super reliable. You couldn't go wrong with buying this. or the 2.0 version, which I will be doing a review on soon. Okay, so now we've spoke about some machines at some different price points. Hopefully you're a little bit more informed about making your next purchase. I will say, we didn't talk about the high-end machines that are 600, 700, 800 euros each, because if you're in the market for that type of machine, you probably know what you want already, and it's out of the scope of this video. I will say, on release of this video, it's a couple of days before Black Friday, and I did notice both the supply companies I use and Amazon are offering discounts of between 10 and 20% on a lot of the tattooing products. So it might be a way that you could afford to move up to a more premium product, or just save yourself a little bit of cash. But with that being said, what did you think of this video? Did I miss out some of your favourite machines, or did you disagree with me completely? Feel free to leave some comments below and I will answer you the best I can. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next one.